QUP's Fashion and Beauty Expert Interview Series. I am excited you've joined me today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So to get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I guess first off, I was born and raised in Minnesota, which is the quick backstory of my name and why it is what it is. My middle name is Minnie, so my parents named me Sota Minni after Minnesota.
Oh,
So a
how neat.
little different there.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so despite being named after Minnesota and loving that state, I've lived in a lot of places. I've lived in Arizona, in Tucson specifically, a couple of times. But then in 2014, I moved to Seattle, Washington. And that's when I made the career change of diving into osteology. I was in banking before.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a big
yeah.
change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely big change. Very different. And then moved back to Minnesota in 2017.
Okay.
And then made my way here to Nashville just over a year ago. Came out here in Halloween of 2021, and I've been here since. Still doing skin. So.
All right. So what in particular made you decide to go that direction? Because there's lots of different directions you could have gone, and
Yeah.
you chose to do skincare. And, what is it that makes you go, that's what I want to do?
Yeah. I think I've just always had a passion for the overall science of skin,
Hmm.
histology, um, versus hair care. When I think of
Hmm.
beauty, going into beauty school, I always thought it was mostly hair related. And so I think that's why I kind of stayed away from it, because that was not a passion of mine. I knew it wasn't going to be an expertise of mine,
Hmm.
until I realized, oh my gosh, there's such a thing as literally just going to school for skin and makeup. And honestly, it just started out as kind of a random thought, a random dream. Toured a few different schools, and then I was hooked, and just kind of happened that way. And obviously, there have been changes in the field since jumping into that. But yeah, made a really big move to go back to school full time and leave the corporate world.
What a great story. But that is, it really is. So many, I think a lot of us have dreams of what we want to do. And
Yeah,
then, but it takes a lot of courage to say, okay, I've been doing this, but I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. So kudos to you for that.
absolutely. Thank you. I
Mhm.
think there's also this idea that maybe you can't make a living doing what you
Mm,
love, right? There's kind of this track of going to college, then getting your job after that, and that's kind of
right.
your planned career. And so, honestly, I never thought of it because I didn't think that it was something that I could do for the rest of my life and make a living out of.
Right. Right. And you have, look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's awesome. So what could a client expect when they work with you?
My biggest passion is probably relaxation and information, which sounds really crazy because I feel like I've worked in places that have really focused on one or the other.
Hmm.
But I wanted to ensure that people who are coming into my treatment, they're paying a hefty price for service, and that's their time. And I still want to make sure that it's their safe space away from their reality to really enjoy that treatment. But I find that it's really important to have that good pre-consultation, talk
Mm.
them through the skin analysis and what I'm even doing on them, because they might not ask because they don't want to, or they're shy, or they just never thought that that's something that they could do in a treatment. So I just like to give kind of like a quick informative what I'm seeing, what I'm doing, and then really have that great post consultation, because what's really important is what you do to maintain your skin after a
Mhm.
facial. So I find that that information is a really key piece.
So how important is it? There's a lot of information out there about. I know that I've been in with professional makeup artists and skincare experts, and a lot of people do say it's all about skincare. That is where it's at. So can you talk a little bit about that piece of why it's so important
Yeah,
to take care of your skin?
absolutely. I mean, skin is it's what you have forever, right? And it's your base layer. So makeup is going on top of skin. Skin is your largest organ. So it's absorbing things that it's coming in contact with, which can affect your overall health as well. And so I feel like proper skincare is almost like a form of hygiene, whether it's extensive, whether it's minimal. That routine of taking care of yourself is just so good for the mind, body, and soul. And what we do in the treatment room accounts for only 20%. You're only seeing me for an hour every month, but what you're doing at home, that's the 80% that really matters. And so being able to take away with what you're learning from your treatment and applying that in your daily life, that's what's really important and going to give you sustainability for good skin.
Okay. So in the treatment process, you would, I'm guessing, talk about that of here's what I'm doing today, but these are all the things, pretty clear directions for a client on what they need to do at home.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
what would you say in terms of, like, I like to call it tricks of the trade, something that someone like me that's not an expert in what you do would, some advice that would be good for me that would be helpful?
Yeah. I always like to start out with, if you're not wearing SPF, then nothing else matters. I feel like that's like my biggest key thing, because it's preventative, as well as, um, you know, treating at the same time. Because no matter what you're doing to your skin, if you're not wearing SPF, those environmental aggressors, including the sun, it's going to damage what's happening there, or further damage what you don't want. So I always like to start out with that piece. But essentially, when it comes down to skin, it's really basic. Gentle cleansing, gentle moisturizing, and then that sunscreen is just the best way to keep your skin. I mean, just like washing your body, keeping yourself hydrated, and then just keeping yourself protected.
Great. Good advice. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So if you had words of wisdom, this is a little bonus question, words of wisdom for people, what would it be?
Words of wisdom. I guess in relation to skincare, or to business, or
It
just
can
kind
be
of
to
anything.
business, it can be to life, it can be to anything. This is a chance for you
Yeah.
to give a little piece of words of wisdom, because you've had a lot going on. You've moved around, you've changed jobs, careers, like
Yeah.
you've had a lot of experiences. So what is something you would share with people?
Yeah. I would share with, obviously finding your passion, but understanding that when it comes to what you're interested in, what you love, realizing that there's such a broad range of that, and you don't have to limit yourself to what you think is the norm, or think is traditional, or think is out there. Like break yourself out of the box if that's the direction you want to go, and don't be afraid to make those changes. Because I've lived in so many places, and I've worked as an esthetician in different environments and companies. Um, I think I was always looking for like the next step and getting the next certification, and trying to be better than I am now, and never just being present and appreciating my achievements, or appreciating to the fullest the clients that are in front of me right now. Because it's always about like, how can I be even better? But just remembering that your passion is in your present moment. And I think that's going to really help you navigate in the way that you want to go moving forward.
That's great. I love that, because it's so true about being ambitious and pushing forward, and that's certainly
Yeah,
important to push yourself and be better for yourself, but being very present in the today, because we don't know what tomorrow holds, and really
exactly.
appreciating what we have right in front of us. I think that's really great advice. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Any
welcome.
final thoughts to leave our listeners with anybody that's thinking about coming to see you, and anything you'd like to leave?
Um, well, I would love to see you if you'd like to
Yeah.
come and see me. It's all about just kindness and connection. I think that's just the most important thing in any industry, but especially with this, with that touch to touch type of unique service that we provide. You want that natural connection with someone. So just coming out kind from the start and really building those relationships, I think, is the most important way to get your message across, and for people to feel like they can trust whatever it is you're telling them, and really caring for them. So, and wear SPF. Don't forget SPF.
Yeah.
I think that'll be my final. If I
Yes.
haven't said that enough yet.
Yes. I will make sure I wear SPF every day now.
Perfect.
For sure. Well, thank you so much. To close us out for our listeners, if you would like to learn more about Sota or book an appointment with her, you can reach her at our website at QUPstyle.com. The link is listed in the comments of this post. And thank you, Sota, for your time. This was so informative, and we appreciate you sharing your expertise with us.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.